Hi guys, so welcome to episode 13 of Keeping Up with Conspicuous. So we've done a live event this week, so we go live every week. However, this week we're doing a live Q&A where you guys who are tuning in right now can comment your questions.
Yeah.
And we will answer them. We've had a few questions come in as well from people that aren't able to make it to the podcast today live. So what we'll do, we've got
the phone up so we can see ourselves, but maybe
we've already got 2 questions.
Okay, so I guess we'll just start.
So
we're gonna keep it like if people are commenting sort of maybe things that aren't like relevant, please try and keep things relevant to recruitment and like job search advice, or even like dynamic space. Please try and keep questions sort of relating to that. So we've also printed a couple off that we had previously from like people that messaged us privately. So I don't know if we want to start by like answering one of these. So I've been in the same job for several years. I'm feeling bored and stuck. What steps can I take to get my career back on track?
I would always start internally. So for me, if you're feeling bored, approach your manager and go say to them, is there anything I could be doing? Is there maybe a progression where you can step up or take on a different internal role where your skills may be more aligned or you may feel more challenged? I feel like that's always the best starting point as such, because obviously, if you're, you might be bored. I don't know, obviously we've only got the question, we haven't spoken to this person
like
about the whole context
of what you're doing.
Of course, if you don't like it in your role and you don't agree with management or whatever it may be and you want to get out of there, I would say...
I always recommend having a conversation with your manager or your line manager, because if you're in an IT or the tech space or the CRM space or ERP, there's so much you can do in terms of the company you're with. Are they a large company? Can you have a discussion with them about maybe moving into a different role? Or, as you said, like the training side of things. So always have that conversation first before starting a job search, because you never know. I spoke to a candidate yesterday who I've worked with last year as well, and he was considering job search, but he's going to have a conversation directly first with the client, so and that's something I would have otherwise said. So
absolutely. I mean, several years, if you're feeling a little bit stuck, sometimes you need to explore new things. Like, life isn't set in stone. Like, I say this as well, like, all the time, but like for me, I wasn't meant to end up where I am today, and sometimes you just gotta take a step back, realise actually I want to try this. This is where I've realised some skills lay. Maybe do a few courses or whatever it may be to see, and then, upskill from there, really. Definitely.
Okay. Right, go on, you pick.
There's one that says, I've experienced several job rejections and it's been challenging. How can I stay motivated and confident during my job search? That's a good one. That's tough. It is horrible.
It is. Don't take it personally, because every company is looking for something slightly different. Every company has a slightly different culture. Every company they might be recruiting for the same position as 20 others, but they'll all have specific requirements that differ just a little bit. So don't let it get you down. Keep going and just apply for relevant roles. If, especially for more junior candidates out there, with your job search, make sure you're only applying to things you'd actually enjoy, and so you're not going to waste your time with job interviews and things. And just remember, like, there is an element of subjectiveness, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you update your CV? Make it better?
That's true. Always look at the CV, whether it is that. And if it is that you're getting rejections after actually being interviewed, ask for feedback. Like, keep pushing back and try and get that feedback and just say, actually, no, I do want it. Like, I have, had a few sort of rejections and I am wanting to improve. Like, where are my improvement areas? And it, as we said, it could be subjective. So everything is a learning curve, and that's how you should see every interview, whether it goes positively or negatively. Don't take it as a negative, take it as a learning curve.
And we know it's easier said than done, trust us. But if you get down about it and get negative and get frustrated, it will only make things worse for you. And then if you do get in an interview for a job you might really like, you're probably less likely to do as well if you're super frustrated and going to assume you're not going to get it anyway. So just be persistent, and you'll hear like all those stories about those people that are famous that have like 20 years ago they were working in this job to make a living and get by, and then they just didn't give up. So yeah,
exactly. All the millionaires didn't become millionaires when they were younger, it was always when they were older. Now I can see that there is a fair few of you watching. Please don't be shy, like it is a live Q&A, so if you do have any questions regarding recruitment, please comment them. Obviously we've got ones that we're going to work through as well, but we are waiting for live comments, so don't be scared, don't be shy, and let's
have at us, but be a little bit kind. Okay, I'm going to go to the bottom one.
Are you?
Because I think this is super relevant, and we get this a lot. I don't know about you, I get this a lot.
Oh yeah.
So I had a gap in my employment history due to personal reasons. How can I explain this to a potential employer without it affecting my chances?
Okay.
Lucy Lou.
Highlight it and explain. Like if you've had career gaps, I always struggle sometimes with some words. Put it on your CV. If it was because you went and lived in a different country for a year to have a break and reset, put it in there. Life is life. People need breaks. Do you know what I mean?
Like Lucy says, maybe even put it in your CV if it's a fairly big gap.
Yeah. However, if it is too long of gap, I would always say you need to start doing some like CPD as such within your area of knowledge. So a few updated courses or new certifications or something that shows actually you're not out of touch, because if it's a few years things can drastically change, especially in our industry as well. IT is ever evolving, so you want to be up to date with it, don't you? Really.
And just showing that you've stayed a little bit up to date, if it's a long period of time, shows that you actually genuinely have a passion for working in that space and you're dedicated to it. I think it's just what Lucy said, really, just addressing them head on. Don't, no BS, just be upfront and honest. If you took a break or you moved or something didn't work out, just be honest. I think that's it, really.
Definitely.
But I have said to candidates in the past, okay, because of COVID, we've had a lot of CVs where people were made redundant and like projects didn't come in, project pipeline was bad, so we needed to address this. So I've said to candidates, put it on your CV, put in brackets next to the role, left due to redundancy or left because no project pipeline wasn't able to match what was offered originally, stuff like that. But
right, so we've got some people commenting now. People have got excited about it. So first one from Joseph. So he said, why is it always about the CV, and how many times would someone change his CV to suit different companies? The CV is your first impression, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's only a piece of paper, which is the hardest thing, which is why it has to be so attention grabbing and to the point.
Yeah.
Because it is that initial impression. Of course, if we could just get you in front of the client straight away, it would be a lot easier, and I agree.
Trust us, it would be in our benefit to do it.
Yeah, CVs are like, it's boring, but it's just a regimented way and an easier way to do it. So annoyingly it is.
And I guess if you're updating your CV, so you don't change job that much within like 10 years. So I'm not going to go from being a recruiter to going and being a professional golfer or something.
Could happen.
Okay, you don't need a CV for that, but you know what I mean. So my CV wouldn't really need changing that much each time. So if I'm applying to, got 10 Microsoft Gold partners all looking for a CRM consultant or business analyst, right? I want to apply to all 10 of them because I think my skills align. Basic CV, specific for a CRM functional consultant or BA role, right? You've made it relevant. What do you want to change for each of those 10 partners? Maybe like what industry experience you have that's maybe specific to them. Do they specialise in not-for-profit? Have you got not-for-profit experience? Things like that. So it's small changes you should be able to do in less than 10 minutes, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, this. You were saying, love what you said about the CV, that is just paper. Knowingly it is, and your personality, you're trying to make it shine through that a piece of paper like this. And it's hard. It is hard, which is keeping it up to date, keeping it fresh, because you as a person change as well.
Yeah.
So my likes and interests on my CV back from the days probably, I like taking my dog for a walk, like, I like doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to keep it fresh, keep it updated.
Now she's going to have going on freaking MasterChef.
Yeah, well, I am the keen chef, but here we go. Right, another one. Joseph, I'll come back to your second question in a second. But Neeraj, you have said, question for you. I'm trying to get a contract job in software QA in and around London. I have a valid UK work permit, but I've never received any positive response from any recruiters. My prior experience was in permanent roles only. How difficult to crack a contract job in London? Appreciate if you could provide tips. That is a great question, and I've got an answer as such. Going into contracting is hard, and you've probably picked quite a tough time in the IT market to go into contracting currently, because it is so competitive.
It is,
and unfortunately, I don't obviously know your experience, Neeraj, in terms of how many years experience, but going into contracting, they prefer mid to senior level, more senior level people, which is usually minimum 5+ years, I would say, if not more 8 they're looking for. Because the idea of a contractor is to go in, get the job done and go. So they don't...
And work independently, not have your hand being held.
Yeah. So obviously we don't know your experience, and you may have 5+ years. So if that's the case...
You may have like 20 and we're sat here like, wait.
But I would say, obviously, you've gone in a very competitive market, and what people are realising, if you're unsure about day rates, reach out to me, I'll be happy, or Tyler, I'll be happy to sort of guide you. However, people are dropping their day rates at the moment, because people, if you're going in at 700 a day, people with the same experience of you have, realised and adapted to the environment, and they've dropped it to 550 a day. And of course, if you've got the same experience but one's at 700, one's at 500, employers are going to pick the person that is cheaper, obviously, for profitable reasons. But it's hard, because contracting is constantly changing.
And I think it goes in line with what we were saying before, just don't give up. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really answer it though.
I feel like it's one of those things, you start answering a question and it's quite easy to get distracted and then miss points, but we're trying.
The tips that I would say is do some more research into current day rates and what the market is saying at the moment. London is difficult. Contracts, I don't know specifically on the QA side.
We have had a few QA roles,
but they've been more perm, I would say.
Yeah, consider perm. If you can, with your situation, consider going permanent. If you've been a contractor for like 10+ years, it can be a little bit harder to make the change. But if you haven't, maybe consider the perm route again.
Yeah, maybe now isn't the time.
Yeah,
but
if you're
then
struggling.
Again, contracting next year could change. It could be booming. You could have loads of new projects come up.
To be honest, even next week could just change like that. You never know.
It's difficult, isn't it?
I think Joseph had one other question. It was just about, some people said they don't accept experience from other countries, and you would need experience from the country you are trying to relocate to. Obviously in the IT space, technical space, we deal with a lot of people that come over because they have a specialist skill set, so they relocate from other countries because obviously they've got such good experience, and we try and support that here as much as we can. Obviously, unfortunately, we don't do hiring directly, we work for clients, so we are sometimes bound by what their requirements are. I think it goes back to what Lucy was saying, so for sort of senior to mid-level positions, maybe more senior, they do like you to have experience working with clients in the country you're trying to move to, which I know doesn't make sense for that, but that is just something that we are bound by.
But even if you have, so I don't know, say if you're from Germany wanting to relocate to UK, if you've worked on a project where you've even been having communication with you've had a UK project, or you've engaged in stakeholder conversations with UK based people, put that on the CV. I know it's something little, but it definitely does help. sometimes, even if you've worked, basically it's difficult because what they're looking for is that you've got knowledge on the way that specific country
and that market
market works. So having market knowledge. So sometimes even doing a little bit of your own research and popping that on your CV to say, I have done this. Little things like that. It's hard. Yeah. It is hard, and we completely sympathise with you. And if there was anything we could do, we would. Because it is a very competitive market. That's the issue. I think specifically with IT, it's so competitive. So having those little areas that you could just pop in there.
And we do try and work with clients as much as possible to bring opportunities for people to relocate. And we do help like with things like sponsorship. We do promote that where we can, because we do see the value in bringing as many talented people as we can into the space. So we do try.
Okay, so Sotiris, I'm hoping I said that right. But he said, question: is it useful to get feedback from a recruiter about qualifications or certifications that are needed, or the needs to change so quickly that this feedback is not relevant? Hold up. I'm trying to work that out. Is it useful to get feedback from a recruiter about qualifications or certifications that are needed?
I think it depends what area you work in. So for us,
I'm with you.
In the D365 space, qualifications and certifications just adds weight to your experience and showcases how you've gone beyond expectations to learn and take those exams and do those qualifications. I guess it's like having a degree, if you think about it, in your space. It just adds weight.
I would say to the second part of that about do the needs change so quickly that the feedback's not relevant anymore. I think certification, I can only speak on our market, so I don't know if you're in our market as such, product manager,
service manager.
It could be transferable, but like say for us there's specific certifications. Now you can keep them updated. I don't know when they expire, whether it's 1 year, 3 years, but I would say always keeping on top of it so that they are always relevant.
Yeah.
Because then that feedback never becomes irrelevant.
Definitely.
And with some, I mean, we've got a role in at the moment that there are specific requirements for certifications. And obviously,
that is a little bit of a rarity. A lot of the roles we have is a bonus to have qualifications or certifications, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. But if you can get them, yes, it definitely helps your profile. Feedback on what qualifications and certifications, as long as your recruiter is a specialist, make sure they are a specialist within your area. So like us, we're specialists within Dynamics, so we could tell you. Obviously, if you're looking to go into Power Platform and you're wanting to have a certification, we would know you need to do the PL 900. Or if you're wanting to do a solution architect type of role, the NB 900 or NB 110. There's, as long as you're talking to a recruiter that's specialised, they'll be able to guide you in the right way about what certifications are worth putting and investing your time into, I would say.
Definitely, so 100%.
Pick your recruiters right, because some will make out they know stuff. And they don't.
If they say degree, just be like, what? I don't need a degree. But, okay, right. So, hello, Tyler and Lucy. I'm a bit hesitant to negotiate a job offer because I fear rejection. Could you please share some tips to help me navigate this situation? Oh, we will.
Me? Me,
yeah.
We will. It's me to you. Okay. It is scary. It seems as if you're asking more... as in like yourself straight to the client. Directly. Not through recruiters. So you've got to have a bit of confidence. I would say if you've got the right reasons and motivations behind you for negotiating, such as you're currently on 68k, you went to this job at 70k, and they've offered you 66k or still 68k, you can then, you've got a stronger case behind you to say, look, I currently am on 68, it is either less or the same, was looking for a slight uplift to make a change. And I think that's a fair enough point to be able to negotiate it. And like, I remember when I started here I've got first-hand experience. When I started here, I got told it was a certain salary, and I was expecting it to be something different, and it was only marginally different. And I just sort of said, unfortunately, because of my cost of living, I'm an expensive girl. No, I'm joking. It's because I rent a place by myself, and for me, in a climate where the everything's going up and salary's going like this, I was a bit like, actually, although it is only a little bit more, I would only actually accept the offer on this because I need that extra little bit.
And Lucy did it exactly right, because she was super open and honest. She didn't hide anything, and she went in with full confidence. I think just check yourself before ever getting into a negotiation, whether through a recruiter or directly, because you need to make sure that you're being fair. And as long as you've checked yourself first, and just ask yourself that one question, is this a fair negotiation, what I'm expecting? As long as it is, go for it.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're a talented individual like Miss Lucy here.
Yeah, but you say that. I was doing it. I hadn't had any experience. Really, I had a little bit of sales experience in my role at the gym. Mine wasn't experience based.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Like, I wasn't saying, actually, I feel like I'm a little bit more skilled. I need a bit more money, sort of thing. It was actually me being open and honest. Like, this is what my rent is. This is what my bills come to. And actually, with everything going up, I would feel more comfortable accepting on this. And if it was lower, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to. It was only marginally different, don't get me wrong. But that marginal difference, massive, especially now prices have gone up again. Do you know what I mean?
And for employers, talent retention is so important. So just giving people security and a bit of extra where you can, it does help.
Of course. So we've got, should I read that question?
Are employers deterred from offering sponsorship? So we lightly mentioned earlier, we work with companies, and we do promote sponsorship where possible. If the roles are sort of, we're struggling to fill them, maybe with people based in the UK or Ireland or Europe, wherever the role is we're working. Obviously, we will try and branch out to other markets. It does depend on budgets that the company has, because it is a cost, an additional cost. Depends on timeline, because if they need an immediate starter.
Whether they're set up for it as well.
Yeah.
They have to be registered, I think, or set up to be able to sponsor.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
A license to sponsor, and unfortunately, once again, it's an additional cost. So yeah, it's more about where the company is, budget, times, because as you said, immediate starters is a big thing, and if you're relocating, the sponsorship process of getting the visa can take.
And it's more work for them
months.
As well. They've got to do like contracts. I know you had someone who sponsorship started somewhere. Yeah, so we do have sponsorship roles, and we do place people with sponsorship, but you know, it is less likely just because of those things we just said.
Absolutely. But once again, it depends on your clients. You could talk to a different recruitment agency, and the clients they've got on board have the capacity to do so. So it's, very hit and miss. Next one.
Oh, this is a very relevant role, because I've had so many people ask this year, and I feel so bad.
I know. So, once again, great question. I love it.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate hearing from your perspective. Are companies open to hiring experienced individuals who have transitioned from a different technology and upskilled themselves, seeking a junior role in a new technology? So that, I guess in a nutshell, how likely is it can you transition from one technology to another technology and get hired within a role?
Yeah, that is so relevant. The reason why me and Lucy was saying that is because, 2021, so basically after COVID, there was a massive spike in recruitment. We saw loads of people hiring, partners hiring, companies hiring, whatever, wherever you were, big spike in recruitment. That meant they were willing to take on more junior people. They had the capacity to offer cross-training into new tech. Because we've kind of hit a bit of a slump, it went up so much, it's come down a bit this year, to the point where the requirements for us in our side is very much on the senior, maybe mid-level and lead kind of things, like people with a lot of experience. So there hasn't been very many opportunities for cross-training or junior roles, and the ones that are coming up are like going like this.
Yeah, it is the time that clients are being able to do so. This year, This year for hiring has been tough, and as a candidate it's been tough as well to transition. It is on the up now, so if you are looking for a new role, I would definitely say now is a better time to explore, for sure. But it's those timings. They've been, a lot of people have been needing those senior people who are very experienced within that area, because they just don't have the time to either upskill people or transfer their knowledge onto a different system. So
it is tough.
It's very difficult.
We'll answer like one or two more just because we're approaching the half an hour mark.
I've got a good answer to this.
Yeah, go on, you read it.
Okay, so it says, hi, my question is how to get a job without experience. So, once again, first-hand experience, I came into recruitment, a bit like yourself as well, with no experience within this area. And my top tip is, if you're employed in another job before, so I'm a sports therapist, so I came from being a full-time sports therapist into recruitment, and they literally were like, what are you doing? Like, or why do you actually want this job? What skills have you got? And what you need to do is you need to think quite cleverly, if that's a word. It's not very clever if it's not a word. But you've got to think about things from a different perspective. Okay, I've never done recruitment before, but what makes a good recruiter? So I can't remember what we were doing. So helping people is a key thing. My job as a sports therapist was to help people get better and make them better. So that was transferable. So I use, although it's in a completely different context,
it's
being
still
able
transferable.
to transfer it and sort of look at it from a different perspective. Rob, our director, really liked, because he was like, you've looked at it completely differently and flipped it on its head. Communication. I've got to be able to translate scientific terms to my clients for them to be able to understand what is wrong with them. So being able to sort of translate technical stuff into more of a manner that people would understand. I do that in this job here, because I would have to be able to, translate between clients and candidates.
It's all transferable, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's little things like that. Okay, it wasn't direct experience, but actually these skills make up what would be a good person at that job. And if you look at it from those perspectives, I think that's one way.
Definitely,
to do it.
And just also, like, I'm not going to touch on this much because we did mention it earlier, but like, make sure your CV is really good. If you can gain work experience or internships in any areas to give you that boost if you've really got no experience at all.
That's true.
Like qualifications, just to show a little bit of interest and awareness for where you're going. And that's the main thing, really.
Work experience is so key, I think, especially for people who are currently going through uni or college or whatever. In any spare hours you have, do some work experience.
And it also helps you, like, my sister's in college at the moment, and we've been trying to get her to do work experience. You know what 17-year-olds are like these days, just want to do nothing. But I'm like, right, come on, Mia, I'm a recruiter, I'm your sister, like, let's get you in work experience, let's do it, because you don't know what you want to do until you figure it out, until you try it. So yeah, I mean, I think we might have to leave it there because we're almost at half an hour, but I think we kind of touched on most of the questions.
Some of the stuff that we've said sort of answers the last two questions. Of course, feel free to reach out to us afterwards, because we don't want to be on here for too long. But we do appreciate everyone sort of commenting, and we will do this a little bit more frequently, maybe every couple of months or so.
Definitely.
So yes. Cool. Oh, everyone's sort of commenting now, guys. What we'll do, drop us a mail, and we will try and answer them, or I'll answer them on the comments, so you've got the answer there. Because we've got recruitment things to do, we're busy girls.
Well, thank you all so much for watching, and just a reminder that this will be on Spotify if you want to listen in the car or anywhere, and also on YouTube and LinkedIn. So
if you want to see our faces.
Thank you so much, and see you next week for episode 14.
See you then, guys.
Thanks. Bye.